hockey friends and families around the world, and welcome back to another edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. It's Lee with Christy and Mike today, and it is our annual updated rule change summary episode. We're going to go over all the important rules today, but this episode feels like it needs more of a news intro. We just happen to have a major news anchor on the show, so I'm going to throw it to Christy so we can get more of a news-like intro so we can get into the mode. All right, Christy, so I'm saucing the puck to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Christy Casciano. We're following some breaking news from USA Hockey, where there have been some rule changes that will impact the way your kids play hockey. We have team coverage for you this afternoon with Lee Elias and Mike Finelli, our correspondents. Lee, let's start with you. Are these going to be subtle changes, or will we see some major changes with the rules for 2025?
Yeah, Christy, I got to tell you, all the audience listening, before we get into this, she can just turn it on like that. I've been with her in person, and I've seen you flip the switch. I like to think I'm a broadcaster, but I remember sitting next to you one time. I was like, oh my God.
I didn't even have a script. I was just
no script. Yeah, for those of you
wondering, teleprompter.
She just did that off the top of her head. She's that good at it.
I'm at the edge of my seat waiting for the news.
Yeah, that's why she is who she is. And I'm gonna say it again. If you're in Syracuse, you're used to it. The rest of the world that listens, that's what we get to work with. I mean, it's a privilege. All right, Christy, to answer your question, yes, there are some good rules here to go over. I'd say none of them are as massive as last year's rules. Okay. And let's just clarify who these rules are for. Okay. So USA Hockey released these. These go into effect August 1st of this year, 2025. The rules we'll be reviewing are for youth hockey, girls hockey, high school hockey, and adult hockey. And I chuckle because I think a lot of adult hockey players don't realize you follow the same rules as the kids. Sorry.
Yeah,
that always makes me laugh.
How you treat refs, right?
Right. There's a tremendous amount of junior hockey rule changes. We will not be going over those today. If your kid plays junior hockey, I highly suggest you look those up because there's a tremendous amount of rules. But the rules we're going to go over today kind of cover things like protective equipment. There's a new one with electronic devices that makes me laugh. Abusive officials, face-off location, icing the puck. So some rule changes. But let's start here. Okay. Composition of teams. So again, a lot of these, like we do on the show, are based on ages up and ages down. Mm-hmm. So if you're playing 15 or over, the rosters now are expanding to 22 players. There could be a lot of reasons for that, right? Okay. Sometimes it's goaltending. It has been 21 for years. So they're expanding to 22 players. Mike, do you know why they would be doing that? It just might be to get more people on the bench, maybe.
Yeah, I think these teams are rostering so many kids. I think it's just a matter of having them, have that opportunity to, not have so many kids sitting in the stands, maybe. But it's almost like too many kids being rostered anyway. If you're on a team with 22 plus kids, then maybe look for another team.
Well, better size is what, 16, right? Isn't that the ideal size?
Three lines, two deep pairs, and two goalies is usually ideal. Now, older kids will disagree. You want a fourth line, which I understand.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right, and you got to tie in the fact that in these games, kids are getting, there's a higher prevalence of injury. The bench gets shortened quicker with kids having to leave the game. So having those other players, not sitting in the stands but available to you on the bench, probably is a good, a good setup for the rule. And obviously, somebody brought that up because they probably found themselves in a situation where, they had 3, 4, 5 kids kicked out of a game or something, and then all of a sudden they're left with, the rest of their roster up in the stands.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
It does. Now the abuse of this rule could be a cash grab to get one more player on your roster. I really hope teams choose not to do that. We're always talking that if you're going to bring in that extra player, make sure that we're trying to play them or utilize them. Or as Mike said, make sure that you're putting yourself in the right team. Now, I don't think this is a bad rule. I'm just saying it opens it up for you to get one more paying player. Hopefully teams are not going to be utilizing it that way. But 22 players for youth tier 1, 15 and up. Okay, this is a tier 1 rule, not a tier 2 rule. The next one is interesting. We've got an update to the neck protectors. Okay, so what USA Hockey is saying is that every neck protector now needs to be HECC certified, HECC certified. So that's the same certification that we have on helmets. You're not allowed to play without that certification. Also, there's a note for BNQ certified neck protectors. B&Q is Canada's version of HECC. So it says requires HECC certified neck laceration protectors for all youth hockey players. Now, I don't know how many of the neck protectors that we use this season are HECC certified. I kind of wish they had put this in last year.
Right. That's a good rule.
But I wonder, it's one of two things. Either this is like they just wanted to wait a year to kind of implement it, or they're finding that a lot of these things are not certified. I do not know the process that these are going to have to go through to be HECC certified. I also highly doubt that a referee is going to come around and ask to see, is this HECC certified? But parents, this is probably a good one for you. They're just making sure that it's protective, and that you're wearing something official. All right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's going to be too strict, right? If you're wearing Kevlar or something, or something like that, you should be all right. But that is a rule. All right. Somebody could do that.
Well, why wouldn't you want the vest?
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
I think it's because of the home remedy neck guards, like the cutoff turtlenecks and the the hockey socks that the kids forgot his neck guard, so he wears a hockey sock around his neck. I've
seen that. Yeah, parents, don't let your kid do that. I have seen that so many times. They just put a sock around their neck. It's not going to do anything for them. So yeah.
And if you're a real stickler to the rules, this also is for practices. So if you're on a USA hockey team and you practice, that means you wear the neck protection in practice
all the time.
The neck protection in games. I would tell you that 90% of the teams I see, they do not have their kids wear their neck protection in practice because it's annoying, which I don't get. But just so you know, it is a rule. So when a kid gets hurt and they ask, well, where was his neck protection? And you say, well, it wasn't my responsibility. It was a practice. You are incorrect.
Right. Because parents, think about it. Why wouldn't your kid get hurt during practice? They're more likely
to get hurt in practice. They're on the ice 100% of the time.
We don't let our players skate without them in practice. It's a 24.
Many do more than not.
That's crazy.
I wish coaches would make that a mandate that during practice you have to wear your neck guards, not just during a game.
Well, I'll say it as a coach. I don't know why you would ever want a kid to practice in a different situation than they play. You want them to be exact. If I was a player, I'd want to feel exactly like I'm going to feel in a game. In fact, if I hated neck guards, I'd be wearing them at practice just because I want to get the feeling down.
Wear 7 different ones and find out which one you like.
Yeah, and so just to clarify here,
that's right. Practice is a time to experiment a little bit and see which one feels best for you.
Maybe you don't like the wool line neck guard. That's fine, and get a different one.
Yeah, and just to clarify, to make sure people understand that this rule has been written 3 different ways. So it's for goaltenders. Have this now. Okay, now if you're playing goalie and you're not wearing some form of neck and clavicle protector, what are you doing? First off, all right? I don't care how good your chest protector is. So it's mandated for goaltenders. It's mandated for all youth players, girls players, high school players, and disabled players. It's not mandatory for adult. Okay, so that's the big update to that rule. Okay. I will say a year later that this has not been a big problem, at least in my area, right? It was well accepted. Everybody's done it. Most of the kids don't forget them. I mean, if we do forget them, we have a backup. So I'd say that rule was implemented well last year.
Right. And let's remind parents of the serious injuries that can happen without them. That's why it's there. It's not just to, one extra layer of protection. It's life-saving. Let's not forget that.
Absolutely, 100%. All right. So that is the future. There's no changing that. All right. Moving on. This next one. This is an equipment measurement rule. You guys know how you look at like weird state laws that don't make sense, like the ones like you're not allowed to walk an elephant down the road in the middle of rush hour or something like that. I would say those rules exist because someone did it. All right. So there's a couple on here today that are kind of like, who did it? All right. This next rule, equipment measurement, mandates bench minor penalty for a team who challenge a mouthpiece and the challenge is not verified.
What?
So it means that there was enough people saying that kid doesn't have a mouth guard in, and they used it either to slow the game down or to do something to disrupt the game. If you falsely challenge a mouth guard, you get a penalty. Now you get a bench minor. So who did it? Who did it? It's a rule. How
do you officiate that? Because would you have to stop the game?
Yeah.
So now it slows the game down.
That's how I would imagine it. You need a timeout, and you don't have another timeout. You go, player number 47 doesn't have a mouth guard in. Gives you that extra 30 seconds.
Right.
Now you're going to get a penalty if you do that. So something happened to have them do that.
Okay.
That's a pretty one. Now this next one is along the same lines. This is Rule 308A, electronic devices. I'm just going to read this one. This will make some of us laugh. This says, adds cameras and microphones to the list of devices prohibited to be worn by a player during games. Any violation results in a misconduct penalty.
Okay,
So
we're talking about the GoPros.
We're talking about social audience. You can no longer wear cameras or microphones while you play in the game. Somebody did it. Somebody posted it.
I've seen it.
No more cute mic videos of the kids talking on the ice, and during the game.
Not during a game. Yeah, no, we're done. Done.
GoPros are gone.
They should eliminate microphones on live bar in the rinks. That's what they should.
Well, too many people would not be arrested if we did that. So, no, that's a good one. Okay,
that's a good one.
I agree with that one. If you're out there, I can't think of a good reason right now why a hockey player would need to record or their voice or their play in that way.
Well, it's for their social media.
Yeah.
Counts.
Although I do love the officials wearing the cameras in the junior games.
Well, they're not on here, so the officials can still do that. But
the officials can.
Yeah, okay. Players cannot do it. I do agree with this rule. If you're doing that, it's probably not to better your hockey game. It's probably to share it on social media. So I do agree with that.
Up your followers. That's what that's
about. So just so you know, I'm skipping any rules that say they're clarifying a rule, which means that the language in the rule book has just changed, but the rule hasn't changed. But the next one I'm going to go to here is appointment of officials. It says this one makes sense. This is one of those, we were accidentally hypocritical rules. Adds a new rule requiring all on-ice officials under 18 of age to wear a neck guard. That makes a lot of sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
The players under 18 have to wear it, so should the officials. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Here's a good one, guys. This might be one of the biggest rules on here for this year, okay? I actually wish they would take this one a little further. This is under the abuse of officials and others misconduct rule. Mandates game misconduct penalty to players or coaches who use obscene, profane, or abusive language to any person after the game.
Good.
That's a great rule because I see that too often.
Yeah, I think officials are abused way too much, and parents forget if they're not there, your kids are not there on the ice. So let's not forget that and treat them with some respect. So, yeah, I'm all for that rule. How about you, Mike?
Yeah,
it's just a common sense rule. I mean, it's and hopefully it just eliminates, maybe somebody in the back of their head thinks about it as their expletives are flying at the end of the game in between the lobby.
Yeah. Well, it's not even the lobby, right? It's as soon as the game ends, if you tell the ref something at any point, you can now get a game misconduct for your team, which I agree with 100% because I have seen coaches wait and then after the game they go off and it's like, no, you can't do it then either. The game's over. We're shaking hands for Pete's sake. I actually wish that, and a lot of people are going to agree with me on this. I wish they would actually extend this to parents too. That if a
it's
parent
not extended to parents, it's only
and I understand why. I understand why because that would be very hard to gauge. It's just players or coaches. I wish they would take it to parents. That if a parent is abusing a ref, that parent's kid can get a penalty. I bet you'd see that come down a lot if you did that. All right. So maybe that'll happen.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, I wish that was. I wish they would do that. That would solve a lot of problems, I think. I made a little mistake. I am going to do one clarification because I think this is important. I'm not sure a lot of people realize this rule. There is a rule that clarifies any game report following a physical assault of a game official must be submitted within 24 hours following a game. So they're just saying if there is any physical altercation with a ref, you have 24 hours to file that. With cameras, that one's a little weird, but it is what it is. All right, let's get into some more of the gameplay changes. Actually, not many left. So this next one is on delaying the game. This one's funny because I'll tell you why in a minute. It says removes mandatory minor penalty to a goalkeeper who accidentally shoots the puck out of the playing area. I don't know many goalies under the age of 15 that can do that.
They do it on purpose.
Yeah, I guess it's happened.
I can see it happening on accident, but to do it on purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So
Did that ever happen?
I've never seen it happen. But if you accidentally shoot the puck out of the playing area, you do not get a minor penalty, which is weird because the kids don't get a minor penalty, to my knowledge, if they do it. So I don't know why there was a rule.
Youth hockey.
Yeah, and then we're talking youth hockey. So goalies, hey, you go ahead, give it your best shot, or don't, right? Just cover the puck and learn how to puck handle at practice. It's much later. All right, next one, delay of the game. All right, removes mandatory. Oh, I already said that one. Sorry, face-off locations. I apologize. Face-off locations clarifies that stoppages caused by the attacking team in the attacking zone shall result in a neutral zone face-off. So this is actually kind of an interesting one. They're saying if you're in the offensive zone on offense and you cause a stoppage, the puck moves out to the neutral zone. Okay, there could be a lot of ways that could happen. You could be laying on the puck. You could stop movement. That's very rare, but you will be penalized now by the puck moving outside the neutral zone.
If you're the initial player freezing the puck in the corner because you're waiting for help.
Yes. Yeah. That's actually a good rule. All right. It means the gameplay must flow on. And Mike makes a great point there, right? There's those plays where the puck is not moving and the ref has to blow the whistle. If you are the attacker and they deem that you did that, the puck now moves out to the neutral zone. No free face-offs for anybody. All right. The next two are icing the puck. This is the big one I think everybody's been waiting for, Mike and Christy. So again, this is youth 15 and up. If you're under 15, this is not for you. They changed this year. Allows teams at the youth 15 only and above, girls 16U and above, to ice the puck while playing shorthanded. So they've reinstituted you can now ice the puck if you're shorthanded, which makes a lot of sense. I understand why they don't do this at the younger levels, but this is a good one back in. It also says that requires center ice face-off location if the game officials err in calling icing. So that's most mistakes. Most official mistakes will move the puck back to center ice, but I think they're just adding that back in because this is new one. So now you can ice the puck again on a shorthanded.
So that means parents in the stands can now yell, "Ice it! Ice it!"
Yes, we can get back to that when we're over 15.
We're clear to do that now. I
don't have a problem with this rule over 15. It makes sense to me. It mimics the real game. It's all the real game, but you know what I mean. Exactly. The younger ages, by the way, the reasons that they don't do that is because they want the gameplay to continue in the zone. They want to give you power play time. They want to give you shorthanded. The idea is to get the kids working within a power play or shorthanded system and not just throwing the puck down the ice.
Yeah, which you could see could be a bad habit for the kids early on.
Yeah, imagine that. They prioritize development at the younger ages. Huh.
Very good.
Weird, huh? Weird stuff. All right, let's get to the next one. This is an important one. Kneeing. Don't see kneeing too much anymore, but it does happen. Adds a mandatory misconduct to any minor penalty assessed for kneeing an opponent. So if you knee someone, you're getting kicked out of the game. Do you agree with this? Again, this is one of those someone must have done it. I don't know why kneeing has ever been a minor penalty, right? It's kind of an intentional thing most of the time.
It is intentional. Huh.
So, usually what I see, Mike, I'd love your thoughts on this too, is that if it's an accidental knee, and what I mean by that is usually you're in a stride and a kid falls over you, typically that becomes an interference call, right? Or a tripping call. Like a kneeing is intent to knee an opponent. And I do agree that there should be a misconduct with that.
Right.
Yeah. I probably want to see the video back up on the rule. Like, okay, this is give me examples of what you're looking at, when you talk about this rule. So I can show my kids, like, this is the rule and this is what we're looking for. We're trying to eliminate, kids getting their legs blown up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there could be, we need explanations on this. USA Hockey is usually pretty good about that. They'll do a video. All right, the next two, in line with icing, the offsides. This is the other big gameplay. Same thing, 15 years old and up is delayed tag up offsides is now back in the game. I'm not going to read the whole rule. But it's that. It says removes automatic whistle for shooting the puck into the attacking end zone on net with attacking players still in the end zone. So delayed and tag up offsides back in the game, 15 and up. Again, completely makes sense, mimics the game. You got to teach offsides at the younger ages. This is why we don't do that. All right. I think this makes sense, Mike and Christy. Like, again, they did it for 1 year. I think it was exhausting for the older players who have been playing with this rule most of their lives. And again, I would not want to go to college or juniors having not played with this at 15 and up. I mean, this is a tactic. It's something you got to learn to do.
That's right.
Yeah, it really becomes part of the game. I mean, it's like and it's hard because the officials usually that do those older games are doing the college games and the junior games. Right. So their ability to read and react to, oh my God, what rule are we playing here today? Becomes harder too. So I think this allows, I don't know. I don't like the free icing on penalty kills. So I think if you get a penalty, I think you should get another punishment. But I do like this rule.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll say it again that when you look at skills at the different age groups, at the younger ages, the reason they're not doing this, it teaches you to stay on sides.
Sure.
Right. And most of the time when kids are off sides at a young age, it's because they don't realize they're off sides. So if you think it's hard teaching them to stay on sides, imagine trying to teach a young kid how to play touch-up offsides. It would be like, get out, go back in, go back in.
Everybody yelling, go in, go out, go out, go in.
Really chaotic. When you get up to 15, there's a lot more speed. It keeps the gameplay going. This rule just makes a lot of sense. You got to teach offsides before you can teach touch-up offsides. I agree with this. It makes sense. Okay, only a couple left here. The next one is puck out of bounds or unplayable. Requires a face-off located in the same zone the puck was located in if the puck leaves the playing surface or becomes unplayable. That makes sense. Okay, so the face-off, again, located in the same zone the puck was located in if the puck leaves the playing surface. So that to me, that means that if you launch the puck out in the defensive zone and it leaves in the neutral zone, the face-off out is still in the defensive zone, which makes sense to me. I don't think you should, like, if I wanted to launch the puck out the other end of the rink, first off, that you can't do that. But then the face-off should be in the offensive zone because I threw it all the way out. No, that doesn't work for me. It's wherever the puck leaves or can't be played is where the face-off should be. I completely agree with that.
I mean, it's not that way now.
Apparently it wasn't. Yeah, or there was confusion. Excuse me. Again, so I'm thinking, Christy, like if you're near the blue line in your defensive zone,
right,
flick it out. I could see how it would go out in the neutral zone.
Right.
And sometimes I'm sure the face-offs were taking place in the neutral zone. No, it's not correct to me. If you flip it out, there's no penalty. Remember, in youth hockey, the face-off should be in the zone. You flick it out. That is correct to me.
Okay.
Mike, you agree?
I like it. It makes it. I just, like I said, I didn't know. I guess I'd have to really look at the rule, but I mean, the bottom line is I don't think that's something that people are freaking out about. I think it's just you're right inside the blue line. The puck leaves the arena. The face-off's inside the blue line. Yeah,
to me, this rule was this was most likely a common sense rule, but it wasn't written down. That would be my guess.
Okay.
So there might have been some refs that go, no, it flew out here. Right, so somebody complained rightly, and it's an official rule. All right, 2 left. This next one is, again, one of those, who did it? It's the refusal to start play rule. Okay, that's what it's called. And it says, so I'm laughing. You now get a second warning it says adds a second warning to team before suspending the game for refusal to start play. So if you're in your locker room and you're stubborn and you're going, I'm not coming out.
Right.
Now you get 2 warnings before they forfeit the game for you.
or the in between period, coach discussion. So they get long, right? So the ref comes over and says, "Coach, you gotta let it go. Let's go, face off." And then all of a sudden you decide, "Oh, I'm going to do it again." Hey, coach, that's your last warning right here. You got to go because they take a lot of liberty in that 30-second timeout in between periods.
Yeah, well, it does say here. This is where I get my eyebrows raised. It says refusal to start play. So you almost got to define refusal because refusal might not be
refusing to start play. If the official tells you there's a face-off and
fair enough. Mike, you get 2 warnings now. Okay, so it's Christy. It's clear to me that Mike is the reason this rule exists, since he's so emphatic about it.
I mean, what the hell do these officials know anyway? They can't even ref the game. How are they going to tell time? So I think it's a good rule.
How often does that happen though, Mike? Does that really happen that often?
I've never seen a penalty for a coach extending the in between.
Whoa, hold on. Again, this is not a penalty. This is them suspending the game. Like, this is a pretty harshly written rule. It's not a minor penalty here. It says, again, before suspending the game for refusal to play.
Well, it's got to be like the towel rule then or something. It's got to be something where, there's like, I'm boycotting this game right now.
You get 2 warnings.
Okay. Well, maybe you got to rethink it then. You got to say, okay, I'm gonna give it to him, and then I'm gonna get a warning, and then I'm gonna play with this and see how far I can take it.
Suspending the game. All right. joking aside, I could see a few scenarios where this might be needed. And again, they're adding
I think I saw it last weekend, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. The ref yelling at the coach, the dad up in the stands yelling at the ref, the coach yelling at the dad in the stands about yelling at the ref. The game's getting suspended. So let's play on.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Two warnings.
It happens. Happened last weekend.
All right. The last update. This is appendix. It's not a rule. It's just an appendix addition. USA Hockey has added disabled hockey playing rules to the general rule book, which is great. It's all inclusive now. They don't get a separate rule book. So everyone's rules is now under the same rule book. I will reiterate, if your kid plays junior hockey, there are a ton of new rules in junior hockey. Again, we are not going to go over them on this show, but you definitely want to take a look at them. A lot of rules. A couple ones before we end this episode. I told you guys this would be a little shorter today. A couple rules I would like to see. I do love, and I don't know anyone who doesn't love this, the PWHL's jailbreak rule, which is if you are shorthanded and score a goal, your player comes out of the box. You are rewarded for scoring shorthanded. It's an interesting rule for youth hockey because I think there's plenty of shorthanded goals in youth hockey, but I just think that would add an element of fun at youth hockey. I think it also adds an element of urgency on special teams, which, parents listening, as you get older, you want to find that urgency. You want to find that ability to get into that. And also, special teams become extremely important as you get older. I mean, they're important all the time, but I mean, you can really live and die on special teams. So I kind of like that rule. I could also see how this could go the other way, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the jailbreak rule, potentially in youth hockey or even NHL hockey, now that we're mentioning it.
I like it, especially, the team shorthanded and give them that bonus. Why not? I think that's great.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's just now a lot of times now you're not just putting your utility players on the ice. You're putting your best player on the ice.
Right.
Say, hey, go score a goal early. Let's get this girl out of the box.
Yeah.
Let's get ourselves back 5-on-5. I love it. I think it really brings it makes the defensive structure of penalty killing offensive.
I agree. I think it would. I think when I think about this in youth hockey, it's just fun. It's a fun addition to the game. Now again, to do that, I'll say this again. This is a PWHL rule. Okay, so this would be a massive change to the game as a whole if it was to be adopted. But I love that they're trying things. The other thing, this is not so much a rule for youth hockey, but I did want to bring it up. One of the greatest things the PWHL has done that I actually think all major sports leagues should look at this rule. Is that if you are eliminated from the playoffs, I love this. The day you are eliminated, you start accruing points to earn a draft pick, right? So if you are eliminated first, every win or loss after that elimination, now you're starting in the draft pool points structure, right? So what it does is stops any team from tanking to try and get a higher draft pick. It's also very fair. If you're the first team eliminated, you have an advantage to get the first draft pick. But if you don't play well and you stop playing well, you don't get it. It keeps every game competitive. You're also playing for something. Yes, it is very much a loser's bracket type thing, but the games have meaning. And I can tell you as a coach that when you're eliminated from anything, it can be tough to inspire your players to have these games that play meaning. But the truth is this, if you're ever going to win, like really win for real, you need to understand what it means to play meaningful games late in the season. Okay. Now, a lot of youth hockey associations, just tying this in, have done different ratings. Like in my area, we have this crack score. That's what it's called. KRACH, that is based on strength of schedule, records, head-to-heads. I mean, and the playoffs are based on that score. It's not based on your record. All right. So for example, I have a team right now with a below 500 record that will be in the upper playoffs because of their strength of schedule. Right. So that's interesting to me. And it makes every game meaningful towards the end of the season. But I am for any rules that make meaningful hockey late in the season for every team. So I love that rule. I'm trying to tell people about that rule. Again, when you think of major professional sports, I don't like draft lotteries. I don't like it. And again, they put those draft lotteries in for this reason of don't tank. But it's like you're telling me there's a chance. Can you imagine the NHL if the bottom half of the league was still fighting for draft positioning late? I mean, it would be incredible. And you earn it. You earn the top spot. As a fan, I like that. Right?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of that?
I like that. I mean, you keep this straight. It is such a struggle, especially if you don't make the playoffs, to keep playing with heart. Because, yeah, okay, what's the sense? We didn't make it, and you're ready to check out.
Right.
But if you still have that little waving carrot stick right in front of the team, that can certainly energize them and keep the season fun at the end.
Right. It's good for coaches too. Like, and again,
Sure,
like, man, if your
and for
team's
coaches.
falling apart, you got to figure this out. Mike,
Yeah,
your thought?
I think it's the level of the program. Like, you know, if you're a pro hockey player, you're playing. You're every day you go on the ice. You're playing to win. I mean, you're
Right.
not tank this. I mean, the whole idea when they talk about pros tanking seasons, nobody's tanking. It just doesn't happen. These players play. Now, can management say, "Hey, we're going to take this guy out of the lineup and move"?
That's what I get worried about. Yeah, it's not the player.
And that's why I think this rule is kind of cool, because now a GM and an owner might say, "Hey, listen, we're going to really actually bolster the team to a place where we know it doesn't mean anything as far as getting through the playoffs, but it actually means something for the future of our organization."
Right.
And I like that.
I like that too. And again, if you can't rally around that, I don't know what else you can rally around. So anyway, those are the 25 rule changes. Again, these are written as 2025 through 2029. All right, so that they're in effect for at least a 4-year period unless they change them. These goes into effect August 1st of this year. Again, not as major as last year's updates. Last year's were massive, right? But the big ones again is make sure your neck laceration protector, as they call them, is certified. I imagine most of them are, my friends, but again, we'll have to keep an eye on to see how that is. I don't know why you put your kid out there with a flimsy neck guard, to be honest with you. If they have to wear it, you might as well make it a good one. Goalies always have them on. Officials, you got to wear them if you're under 18. That makes a lot of sense. And again, just tag up offsides and icing back in the game for 15 and up. All rules we agree with. So those are your rules. Those are the changes for this season. This season, next season, depends on when you're listening to this, I guess. Seems so far away, but it's not. And that's the episode. Christy, do you want to do like a news outro now, or how should we end this one?
Thanks for joining us, everybody. So let's go over those rules one more time, review them. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer them. Maybe you have a few suggestions too. We'd love to pass it along. Thanks for joining us, and skate on.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.